Hey everybody, it's me, Marquita, and I am coming here again, um, to talk about. Okay, I was just watching Rolling Unmasked. What's his name? Rolling Unhinged, Rolling Un. Ugh, and I don't remember his full name. I will link, or I will put his page in the description. And if I can, because I'm recording on my tablet, I unplugged my headphones, and it seems like it's louder without the headphones. And so, and I like literally, hopefully this is better than my other videos, because usually I record through my headphones, which I have a mic on the headphones, but y'all probably don't care. I'm just saying, if it sounds louder, if it sounds clearer, um, it's because I'm not recording through my headphones. I'm got the tablet up to my mouth and speaking directly into the tablet. If I had my phone, it would sound so much better. But Gary has my phone because his phone is broke. So that's why, like, if anybody has been calling me or texting me, I don't have my phone because his phone is broke. And yeah, I gave my phone to him. Um, I was coming because I didn't even know I needed this until I heard it. So I was watching, not finished, because I'm in the middle of watching it, and I was like, you know what? I need to make a video because the way that I tell y'all when I say food is my love language, but drums, oh yes, I love some drums. I keep telling everybody, I tell everybody that I know, drums, they take me where I need to go. Wherever I need, like if I was back in the, I don't even know what year that would have been. Anyways, if the Pied Piper had a drum, and I would be one of them kids. Like he would lead me out of the village. Where am I going? I don't know. The drum took me. That's all I'm saying. I know that's a terrible thing to say, because if y'all know the story about the Pied Piper, not R. Kelly Pied Piper, but same but different. Um, my whole point of it is, I told y'all, every time I have ever been to a Pentecostal church, and I think Lutheran also does this. Anyways, a church with drums. Oh yeah, that I need, like, drums is like my DNA. And so that brings me, and this specific episode um of Roland, um is when he's talking to Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. You know, she's on my dream ticket. Like I said, she's on my dream ticket. Um, House Representative Jasmine Crockett, that is, from Texas. Um, but he was asking her. I think the name of the episode is Whiny Men. I don't remember. If I can figure out how to put that episode in the description, because I don't know how to do it on my tablet. Like, I know how to do it on my cell phone, but I don't know how to do it on my tablet. So that's why most of the time my videos are uploaded, and there might be like a continuance of different videos, but it's like how many ever uh, videos that are cut. And I don't like, I try pasting them together, but then the little thing that I use is like you can't export it because whatever, something in my tablet that's different than what's on myself. So long story short, I can't make one big long video unless I'm making it and not stopping. But like if I'm making something, stopping, and then need to come back to it, it's gonna be two different videos, or how many ever different videos. That's why that's like that. Sorry, I just can't figure out how to do it on my computer, on my not computer, on my tablet. When I was on my cell phone, I know how to do it, and sometimes I have spur of the moment things that I want to say, so I don't grab the cell phone. I just use my tablet. So, knowing that, long story short, let me get back to my drums. And they were talking about the uh, not parliament, parliament, and I think Australia. I think that's what they said. When they broke out in haka, chant, and dance, I need that in my life. The way that it gave me life, and I know y'all like, come on now, you're 40, almost 41. I gotta be 41 in a couple of days. Like today's the 24th, so my birthday's in 5 days. I'll be 50, not 50. Shit, come on now. I know you look like it. I'll be 41 in 5 days. Thanksgiving's in 4 days. Um, is it really in 4 days? It would seem like it would be longer than that, but nope. My birthday is in 7 days. Nope. My birthday is not on this Saturday. My birthday's on Friday. Today is Saturday. My birthday's in 6 days. Thanksgiving is in 5 days. Okay, now we got that started with my old brain. Anyhow, um, what I just read me for? Okay, see, I was talking about the drums. I don't even know why I just read me, but I read me. I got me together. Just don't know why. I guess it's my touch of dementia, even though it's not sundown time, but I guess you can have sundown during the day. Anyhow, weave. I'm back woved. Back to what I was talking about. I need that haka. I need that haka chant. I need them drums. I need that beat. I need that chant in my life because I cannot even explain it. The only way that I can explain how drums makes me feel is the Pied Piper when he led the kids out of out of that town. When Chester, the mouse off of Rescue Rangers, how he smelled cheese and was just floating through the air on the air currents of the cheese. That's how drums do me. If I can visibly lift off the ground, that's how drums do me. And like, I know that sounds weird, but I mean, if Chester can float for cheese, I can float for drums. That's how it does me. Like, I really think that in my past life, I was one of the Pied Piper kids. Got reincarnated as as a true indigenous person, died, reincarnated into what I am now. Because it's, I can't even explain it. I can't even, but like I also tell my brain, because it's just me. I'm with me all the time, so I think of weird stuff all the time. I tell me that, okay, you were part of, you were a princess in an African tribe That's why you love drums. Okay, so African, princess of an African king that had drum circles, or a princess of an indigenous king. Maybe I was Sacagawea. Maybe I was Pocahontas, the little brat. I think that's what it means. I'm sorry if that's not what it means. I think that's what it meant. I think that's what the name Pocahontas meant. Was little brat. I'm very bratty sometimes. Um, but maybe I am her. Maybe I am she. Maybe I am them, they, and us. I don't know. Maybe I'm Moana. I don't know what Moana's real name is. No, Tahiti is the island. Oh, see, this is why I try not to think off the dome. This is why I try not to think off the dome, because now I'm sitting here trying to make a point, trying to add myself to places that to people that I am not. But I'm telling you, the way that drums gives me what I need to be gave, drums gives me what I need to be gave. I love drums. Drums is literally a part of my DNA. Like my favorite, now let me say this, my favorite instrument is a drum. Ugh. Now, my favorite instrument to play, because I don't know how to play no drums, but my favorite instrument that I have always wanted to play, I got to kind of play it, but not really play it. I got to play a little bit. Like, I got to play it, but the discount version, even though it wasn't discount, was I always wanted to play the violin. When I was younger, like I said, I was born bougie, but I was also born very poor. So my wants and my thoughts as a kid, this was what my whole dream was. I wanted to do ballet. I wanted to do gymnastics. I wanted to ice skate. I wanted to play the violin. I wanted to play the piano. So, um, I played the viola for 5 months when I was 18. Yeah, it was the last 5 months of high school. So I played the viola. It's, I'm not gonna say the discount version of the violin, but I mean it's it goes on the shoulder. You have to hold it with your neck. It has a bow. It's small. It's smaller than a cello, but bigger than a violin. So I kind of got to play the violin. And I have told this story 1,000 times. The reason why I didn't get to play the violin was because the day I went to that school, it was, I think, already a week into the school year, because it might not have been. Yeah, it wasn't a full week. It was like 2 or 3 days. Yeah, 2 or 3 days into, yeah, into the school year. Um, but so I went there and went to that school. It was a magnet school. And so I went to that school and they asked me, okay, well, what do you want to do? Because it was only one class I was required to take. The other classes I was not required to take. So when I went there, sitting down, and me and my mama went, even though she technically did not even have to go, but she went because I was already 18. Um, but she went with me to, you know, enroll me into that school. And so I sit down. They ask me, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "What do you mean, what I want to do?" And they said, "Okay, well, the only class that you have to take, for your senior year is math." And I was like, "Okay." And they go, okay, but you got 3 more classes. What do you want to take? And I was majorly confused because never in my life have I ever heard of a magnet school, really. Like I knew about magnet schools, but that's just saying um, Route 66. Have I ever been on Route 66? I don't know. That's just a road, a highway. Like that, like magnet. Okay, have I ever been in a magnet school? This is before graduation. Have I ever been in a magnet school? I don't know. It's just a school. That's how I was looking at it because I had no idea. So they were like, okay, well, what are you into? And of course, I tell this story all the time. I love babies. I wanted to be a midwife. But when I was a kid, like from 5th grade all the way up to 11th grade, I wanted to be an accountant. I even took accountant 1 in 10th grade. And I would have passed if I did not do that boy's work. I'm not even going to say his name, but he knows who he is because I used to sit directly behind him and he used to sleep through school. And oh, we had a friend, he ended up dying. Sorry, that made me think of my friend that died. He was a football player. Rest in peace. Anyhow, sorry. That caught me off guard. But anyway, so this guy had the most he had the most prettiest eyes in the world. They were like purple. But anyhow, yeah, his raw eyes. They were like a sometimes they were like a dark, well, not dark. They were kind of like periwinkle sometimes. And so like they were gorgeous. Like I never, like to this day, I haven't never seen anybody with eyes that color. And I know y'all probably saying, "Oh, well, he probably had contacts." Nope. And I don't know, um, like when he usually was sleepy, that's when his eyes were like a periwinkle purple. It was weird because they changed, like, of course, depending on his mood. But usually when he was sleepy, that's when his eyes. And so I knew when he was sleepy, even though I never looked at him in his eyes. Not really. Like I looked at him in his mouth because that's me. I don't give eye contact. I know, probably autistic, probably, but like I don't do eye contact unless I trust you. But that still don't mean that I can't see your eyes, even if I'm not looking in your. You know what? Why am I reading me again? We're not even talking about that boy. My point of it is, so when they asked me what did I want to do, I was like, I love kids. So they were like teen parenting, and I'm like, okay. And so they were like, okay, well, what else do you like? And I think at that time the announcement for band practice, and I was like, "Oh, I want to play the band." I'm like, "I want to play in the band." And he goes, "Okay, marching or a percussion, not percussion. It was marching or it was another band." And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, do you know how to play an instrument?" I was like, "Oh, I played the tuba once." When my version of playing it once is this girl brought like she had like 6 reeds. I think that's what it is, the mouth thingies. She has 6 different ones, and she let me like she gave me like one of the clean ones, and she let me blow into her tuba. Yeah, one time. That was me playing a tuba once. So he was like, "Okay, marching band." I was like, "Yep." So then he was like, "Well, what else do you like?" And I was like, "Oh, I love doing hair." And he's like, "Okay, cosmetology." So literally, that was my schedule. And so, um, signed me up and all that. And I don't know who it was. I don't think it was the teacher. It had to be like a teacher or something. But walked me to each class just to introduce me to the teacher and all that. excuse me. And so when I went to my went to the first class, it was teen parenting. Introduced me, and then they were like, okay, well, you know, on this side of the class, you would do schoolwork. On that side, I think it's once, like it rotated between all of the students, but it's like you will be working the daycare side because they had an in school daycare for the students and for the teachers' kids, and and so they were like, you will be like, I think it was like maybe twice a month you will work in the daycare side, and then I was like, okay, I didn't want to work in the daycare side, but I think I worked over there one time and I did not enjoy it. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy being around the kids, it was I felt overwhelmed because it's like I'm sit there teaching or learning about different things, and then one time I got to be thrown in with like, I think they had maybe like 10 kids. I'm like, okay, I don't know any of these kids. They were all different ages. So I was like, yeah, I don't ever want to work with them kids again. And then I knew me. I don't like kids that can talk like that. Like kids that I don't know that can talk. Because it's like, okay, one, I can't hardly understand what they're saying. Like now, I can, you know, understand what a kid is saying. Like back then I could, but it was just like a little harder. And then it didn't help that during that time, I literally was sharing a room with a girl and her baby. And she was pregnant when, oh, I meant to say, I forgot to say, I was in a homeless shelter. So, yeah, I signed myself out of state custody when I was 18. And I was there, went on a home pass, came back from that home pass. It was like, what, Bisk? What, buddy? Nothing? Okay, I thought he was about to start yelling. It's about that time for him to start yelling. So I left that group home and then didn't have nowhere to go. So, and you know, God, he's always been there for me, because why did I, 18, not street smart at all, decide to leave? And God was like, you know what? See, you think you grown, but I'm like, just Keita, stop. So then, of all the people in the world that I could have ran into that night, I ran into my sister. Literally, of all the people, she was the only person I seen that night. And she was walking up the street, and I yelled at her. And she turned around, she goes, what are you doing here? Mind you, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I left that group home at 11. I was walking the whole time. The whole time. So I found her. She was like, I was like, where's mama? And she's like, I don't know where she's at. She goes, but what are you doing here? And I said, I left. And she goes, what do you mean you left? I said, I walked out of the group home and I left. She goes, well, I'm homeless. Mama's homeless. We don't have anywhere for you to live. And so she went over to one of her friend's house. And then that woman, because her son was already sleeping in the bed with her anyhow, so his room was open, and she allowed me and my sister to sleep in her son's bunk beds. And then the next morning I got up and we found my mama. My mama's like, why did you leave? I was like, because I did not want to be there anymore. Anyways, so she's like, well, you came here, like, we like, you were in a better situation than me and Alicia was. And I was like, I know. I was like, but I did not want to be there. So she finally was like, okay. And so she asked, like, we called the Salvation Army, and they were like, yeah. And so when we went there, they were like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 18. And they was asking my sister how old she was. And they were like, well, this is a family shelter. And we were like, okay. And they like, y'all are all three adults. And they said the only way that we can let you stay here if you if y'all had kids. And we were like, okay. So I was like, I guess I'm homeless now. And so they said, well, have you graduated high school? And I said, no. And they said, well, you two can stay because that's your mama, and then you will be considered a child. Yes, legally an adult, but because you know, if you go back to school, because I already said I was going to drop out of school. Literally, I missed like 2 days of school. Because, like, when we went there, it was like, I think school might have been back in for like a day. But, you know, a day or two. And so, it was like, okay, because I was like, I'm dropping out of school. I don't want to, da da da. So that's the only reason why I we got to stay at the homeless shelter. My sister didn't get to stay, but she's like, "Oh, I'm all right," and all that. But I felt so bad because I'm like, okay. I'm like, how about me and you try to go get an apartment? I was but you know, she's like, she don't have no income. I don't have income. I was trying to figure it out, and she's just like, no, 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 you know. Anyhow, and so I, like, me and my mama, we got to stay there, but then she eventually got kicked out, um, and then they made a deal with me, and so I became my own parent. I was a child, but also an adult. I really can't explain it to you. I think I have in multiple. But my whole point, where was I getting at? How did I get on school? The drums. Yeah, so went down, found out that, oh, that I don't want to do band. So they were like, okay, what instrument have you always wanted to play? And I said, the violin. And they go, oh, well, orchestra. So I went in, went into that class, and literally it was like fate, because the day I went in, because he asked me, oh, have you ever played an instrument? I said, no. He goes, what instrument do you want to play? I said, the violin. He goes, let me see your hands. And I showed him my hands. He goes, you know what? He goes, we don't have a viola player. And literally the day I went in, it was a girl. She was she was literally leaving that class, because if I would have gotten to be in that class. But the girl that came the day after me, she wouldn't have got to come to the class. But like I said, when I went there, it was one girl leaving, and she was switching classes. And so he's like, we don't have a viola player. And I'm like, what's a viola? He goes, it's like a violin, just bigger. And I'm like, okay. He goes, it's the same strings except one. Um, I think it was the E string is a violin, and a C, like E as in egg, is on the violin, and a C as in cat is on is on the viola. But I think cello has the same strings. If I'm not mistaken, C D. No, that's not D. C G D and A. No, A C D E F. sharp. G. And then I'm thinking that's what it is. See, cats get drunk a lot. Yeah, so C G D A is the strings. Um, but and I think the acronym for the violin is dogs get get dizzy easy or something like that. I don't remember what their acronym was, but so that's how I became playing the violin. I mean, not the violin, but the viola. And then if I would have came literally one day later, I would have had to play the cello because he didn't have a cello player because it was him. He played the violin, so the teacher knew how to play all the instruments, but he was a violin player. And then it was three other people was violin players, and then I was a viola player, and then the other girl was a cello. So we had one cello, one viola, three violin, which was funny because when we did our recital, like at the end of the year, he was like, "Okay, well," and he for our class, cause like we had to be paired up with a an advanced person, which the person the person um I got paired up with was the older brother of the girl that played the cello in my class. We were both beginners, but like her brother was very advanced. Like he knew how to play all the instruments. Like he could have been the teacher. That's how good he was. But so when I did, the recital, he was my advanced person that I was linked with. And it was like we all had one advanced person. Now, the funny thing about it, and I'm laughing at me because I know it's stupid, but this is true. Um, so when it was time for the recital, he told us all. He goes, "Okay, so," and he was talking to the three violin people. He goes, "So, if you want to be first chair, you got to audition." So they were like, "Okay," and so they were like, "Okay, so you gotta stay after school today. Do y'all got to ride and all that? Somebody to pick you up, and you know, whatever they said. I don't remember specifically." And I was like, "Okay, so I need to get a ride, for after school." And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "I got an audition." He goes, "You're the only viola player." And I was like, "Yeah, I got an audition." He goes, "No, you're automatically first chair. You're not fighting against anybody. Like the other girl, the cello, she's automatically first chair because there's no other viola. I mean, there's no other cello. There's no other viola." I was like, "I still need an audition." And he was like, "Okay, if you want to audition." Obviously, I got the part. I got the chair. Y'all let me have it. Y'all let me have it. I auditioned to be first chair viola. But the person that won the first chair cello, or not cello, the first chair violin was this one guy, which I think he ended up picking two first chairs because all of us got to um like basically like we all played in it. It's just um him, and because it was a boy, he was the only boy in my class, my my beginners class. And then it was him, and then it was a girl that played the violin when she was little. She stopped, and then she just came back and started playing again. So she, of course, could have been first chair, but I mean, he gave it his whole best, and he was first chair, but she was also kind of first chair. She was like co-first chair, but she wasn't like the advanced. She wasn't his advanced player. Like we had somebody else that like had years of of uh years of training or whatever, if not in school personally and all that. But yeah, so I auditioned for first chair viola, and I won, even though it was me against me. But anyhow, so yeah, um, but yeah, I need drums in my life. I need drums in my life.